Who was Nelson Mandela? He was a major civil rights activist in South Africa, but before all that, he was a boy in rural Xhosa with no knowledge of apartheid. Years later, he ended up as a member of the African National Congress, or the ANC. He was even arrested for it. Even in prison, he was a help to activism, and afterwards, he even became the president of South Africa. Mandela had to start somewhere, and that somewhere was the ANC, or African National Congress. It was a political party that was founded in 1912 to fight for freedom and tried to pressure the government to end apartheid. Mandela did things such as propose to set up a military wing of the ANC, choosing to fight rather than surrender. As a result, he was chosen as its first commander-in-chief in 1961 and had it go on a campaign of government sabotage. This ended on July 11, 1963, when the government found their headquarters and arrested the armed wing's key members. Mandela realized that the government had all the evidence they needed and chose to use the trial as a way to promote the cause he had been arrested fighting for. During Mandela's 27 years in prison, did he ever stop the fight? Of course not. Charged with terrorism and sabotage and given life in prison, Mandela was a symbol worldwide. In prison, the government tried to negotiate with him, make him renounce violence in return for his and his friends' freedom. However, he didn't take any of them. His imprisonment meant that the whole world knew about the apartheid in South Africa and wanted prisoner 46664 to be freed. The government tried to silence him at first. Short visits, letter limits, living in a prison on an island. Eventually, him and his friends, other political prisoners, were sent to another prison and isolated from the rest of the prisoners. At the same time, their living conditions improved. Exercise equipment, food they grew being prepared in meals, moves, and grocery shopping. The South African government couldn't have such a prominent figure in the fight to end apartheid become a martyr. The final time he moved prisons, he got his own home. The president would even negotiate with him. His wife would visit him, and people would send letters the whole 27 years. Often, one would overlook remarkable things as normal because that's what they're used to. Mandela was a kind person as president. He wanted to know those who worked for him. He also helped South Africa create a new constitution to usher in the post-apartheid South Africa people wanted, and didn't punish those who committed crimes against black families in exchange for information. That's particularly interesting, as most might have punished the white people whom had wronged them, but Mandela didn't. Nelson Mandela's impact on the world was great to say the least. His work has changed many people's lives for the better, even if some people aren't the most accepting of others even now. Many books have been written about him and his fight, much of South Africa's fight. Today, there's foundations in his name. The records kept in the archives of his life serve as a reminder of the bad and as an inspiration to those looking to make a change today. Who was Nelson Mandela? He was a major civil rights activist in South Africa, but before all that,